Welcome into Texas High School Hysteria as we celebrate the biggest stories in Texas, past and present. Be sure to subscribe. Joining me now, the consensus and unanimous best junior in the country and his dad. I'm talking about Tre Johnson, the man that led Lake Highlands to their first state championship in 55 years. Great to have you alongside Tre and Richard, and congratulations, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, Tre, was it a little strange? I mean, you make history and something that your school hasn't seen since 1968, and then you guys go on spring break. It's like you didn't even get a chance to really celebrate with your teammates and your classmates.
It was kind of good. We kind of celebrated after the game, and then we celebrated a little bit during spring break.
Richard, what has this whole experience been like for you as a proud father to see your son get to the promised land and take home that state title?
It really feels good, just knowing all the hard work that we put in over the years since a little kid before, we could even really see the vision. Couldn't really see the light, but we kept working, putting in that work. And then, to end up getting the state championship, it's just one of the stepping stones that, that we have accomplished, that we're trying to get to our main goal, to the NBA. So it's a beautiful thing.
Tre, I look at that state championship game on the highest level in the state of Texas. You had 29 points in the game, and this was against a really good Beaumont United team that went back-to-back with state titles on the 5A level. But this game was tight in the third quarter, and they had the lead, and then you guys start to separate. You went on a personal 9-0 run. Tell me about that moment when there was the Tre takeover, and it was pretty much lights out after that.
I had just told my teammates, we came out of a timeout, that we didn't need to, get no lead or anything going into the third. We still had a lot of time, 5 minutes left in the third, and we were down. I don't know how many. We just said they had to keep it close going into the fourth and then try to make something happen during the fourth. But then I made a few shots, and I had a hot hand, and it just kept coming back to me.
Richard, what were you guys saying on the coaching staff at that point? Because you knew, you didn't want to let the game get away from you at that point. And you wanted to take charge.
Tre was a hot man, and we were still trying to move the ball, and just, stay in the flow. But, the coaches on the bench was like, hey, coach, me get Tre the ball. He was hot. So we just decided, that was probably best to just keep feeding the hot man, and then we just let everybody else just play off of him.
Tre, you always seem to shine the brightest in those big time moments. How do you find that extra gear when everybody else is trying to stop you?
I just go back to all the hard work I've been putting in. It's not really extra gears, just doing the stuff I've been practicing and working on.
Richard, what I liked about this team is Tre wasn't the only superstar in this team. It was a well-balanced team. What do you think made this team stand out?
The confidence that these guys have and the trust they have within each other. Everybody knows who Tre is, and all through the year, he's been guarded different ways, and other guys have been able to step up. And, that just goes to show, the chemistry these guys have playing together for a few years. So it wasn't a difference in the championship game because, these guys have had big moments throughout the season. So just to see it all come together at one time, and that's kind of what we needed for that game, man, that was huge.
One of your teammates, Tre, Sam Alaton, what a special player he is. He could pretty much play anywhere in the country. He chose Yale. He's a smart guy, no doubt about that. But he was able to set the all-time Class 6A record for blocks in a state championship game and put him up in the company of people like Chris Bosch. Tell me what he meant to you and your teammates on your team.
He was a great factor in the state game and games before that in the playoffs because a lot of shots, he altered a lot of shots that he didn't get a chance to tip on. So, most of they missed shots because of him altering and then block shots and missed opportunities.
So you're sitting next to him. How instrumental has your dad been in your basketball career in making you the top junior in the country?
It's been a lot because he's been giving me advice on things that he's seen or been through in his past basketball career and things he's seen on the court that I also don't see.
And he's also a guy who has some unbelievable accolades himself. I mean, he went to the state tournament multiple times at Garland, and then, of course, was a superstar at Baylor. Do you ever hear about those glory days, Tre, a little bit?
Yeah, I hear from a little bit from him every once in a while.
Tell me about those glory days that he's talking about, Richard.
It's just like, I mean, anywhere we go somewhere, and like my old friends, they always, they know he played basketball, so they talk about how good your dad was and everything. So, some of my old coaches that have met him, they talk about some of the highlights I've had in my career or whatever, scoring a lot of points, 48 points in the game, just different stuff like that, but it's just amazing for me to be able to have went through that so I can share those stories with him and I can help guide him through those difficult situations when he faces them because I've been there before.
So, Tre, is there actually video for you to see of this, or is it too long ago where they didn't have any video?
Nah, I'll be seeing a couple of tapes from him when he was in college.
VHS tapes.
So when you guys go at it one-on-one, who wins?
Well, we haven't played in a while. It's been about 5 years, so I'm up on those victories right now, but I think I'm retired, so I'm gonna retire while I'm on top.
Tre, when were you able to first beat your dad on the basketball court? How old were you?
Yeah, he hasn't beat me. We probably fifth grade. Fifth grade was the last time we played, so yeah, I put my shoes up then.
So, Tre, does he have the size advantage on you? I mean, how do you play against your dad? How do you beat him?
Then he had the size advantage. Now he really doesn't have the size advantage. Probably just weight-wise or strength-wise.
Well, Coach Duffield has done such a fantastic job there at Lake Highlands, one of the most respected coaches in the state of Texas. I know he's moved around a lot, been successful, but always had deep ties and blood to the Richardson area and Lake Highlands. Talk about what he's meant to you and your teammates, Tre, and how he's made you guys so successful.
He's meant a lot to me and my teammates. He's been just staying honest regardless of what it is. So no matter how many win streak we're on or anything, he's just been pushing us, one of the best for us. And then he's also just been staying on us and telling us different things that we could do better to improve.
And Richard, I can't imagine from his perspective how cool it is to have someone with your knowledge and your basketball background to be an assistant on his staff. How much have you enjoyed that relationship?
It's been great. Me and Coach Duff, we met back in, I think, 2003. We were both coaching at Bryan Adams High School. I was on the girls' side, he was on the boys' side. And we used to play in men leagues together. And he had always said, one day me and him, we were going to coach together. So, now that we're finally, this is our 4th year coaching together. And it's been great because Coach Duffield, he cares about the kids. He's going to do whatever, and he's also a great players coach. He has a good relationship with the kids. So, just adding, what he brings and what I bring to the table, it's just, that's why we say we have one of the best coaching staffs probably in the country, not just the state, in the country.
Tre, it's always fascinating to me when I talk to kids that are superstars, and you're obviously on the highest of high levels as an elite player. Tell me what a typical training week is like for you.
It's kind of like all the same. I just work out every day. I just take Saturday off every Saturday, but they also like the same. I just don't work on just one thing. And when I work out, usually I work on everything. All of my skills can be sharper.
How many shots do you like to get up a day?
It's a lot of shots. I don't try to keep track of the number, but it's a lot though.
Yeah, we go more on makes than we do shots. I mean, because I feel anybody can get up shots, but, my main thing, our workouts, we want to be more efficient workouts, things that's going to translate to the game. We don't want to just have empty sets or anything like that. So we go more on the makes.
Great. I think about, your work ethic and how hard you work to become an elite player. You've been turning heads everywhere. I think back to your Oklahoma-based AAU team and where you were in a tournament. And the great LeBron James saw you. He couldn't believe that you were only a sophomore. That absolutely blew up on social media. What was that experience like for you?
That was just a cool experience being able to play in front of him and then him making it look calm or whatever. It was just a very cool experience.
How much has that AAU process helped out in his maturation when you think about where his basketball skills are right now? Because you have that physicality and, of course, the speed that you see against the elite players from all over the country, Richard.
I think it's kind of like a measuring stick, kind of let us know where we're at among some of the other best top players in the country. And he's always played up. When he was a freshman, he played up on the 16. So ever since a little kid, I've always played him up against older kids because his skill set and IQ for the game has always been higher than, what his grade level was. So my job was always to put him in uncomfortable situations. And, that's what we see right now. When he gets in these moments, he's still able to shine because he's been there before. His training and preparation has prepared him for those moments.
You have been such an unbelievable player and really, open up the eyes of all the college coaches out there. You're a 5-star kid, but now winning the state championship in the state of Texas on the highest level is getting even more eyes on you, Tre. Tell me what the whole recruiting process has been like for you.
It's been amazing. It's been a blessing to have so many colleges reach out to me and try to communicate with me. But it's just been amazing meeting new people and just talking to different coaches.
How about your trip to Texas when you got to meet your childhood hero, Kevin Durant?
I was amazing. It gave me a few pointers and tips and different things I could work on to become a better overall player.
You think about the DFW Metroplex and the talent is just immense. I mean, we've seen 29 basketball titles since 2010. This year, obviously Lake Highlands, along with Faith Family and Dallas Kimball winning titles. So half of the 6 are able to do that. And then you look at the NCAA tournament, Richard, which has been amazing, where you see people like Drew Timme from Richardson Pierce, Mike Miles Jr. at TCU doing things on the big stage. He won a state championship in Lancaster. The 2 Arkansas kids, Anthony Black of Duncanville and Jordan Walsh of Faith Family. What does it say about the talent in the DFW Metroplex as being the best in the country when we see all the success from these guys on the next level?
It's amazing. And I think it gives Texas basketball a great name because, at first, Texas was known for football, but like we come up under the Tyrese Maxey, Chris Harris era, watching them, the work they put in and everything. So it's been amazing just to see how many of these different guys that we watched and, when we were little kids, just watching them and now they're in college, Tyrese in the NBA, it's just amazing. And we're looking and hoping to follow in those same footsteps.
Tre, when you see those guys doing big things, does it motivate you to get to the next level? And also, I think that, you're just getting that day in and day out competition in the Metroplex that gets you ready for it.
It's not really motivation. I already had the motivation before because I knew what I was trying to accomplish or get done. But yes, it's kind of a good thing to look at and see I could be in that same position in a few years.
Tre, how about your Rowdy Student Section? Those guys are so loud and crazy. They had to move them around 3 or 4 times at the state championships. How much do you and your teammates feed off those guys?
Well, we feed off of the energy a lot. Whenever we're making the shots, whenever we're going to run, their energy is always felt, or their presence is always felt during the game. Or when we're down and we're trying to come back, the energy they give us is always good.
You think about what the history that you guys have accomplished, the first state championship since 1968. Richard, this is a community that you guys have rewritten the record books now. How much has that Richardson, Lake Highlands area shaped you and your family?
The support here is outstanding. Back when Tre was a freshman, it was during the COVID time. So, he really didn't have the real high school feeling or whatever. The stands wasn't as crowded for the games. But, now his sophomore year, when they went on the run, and then now his junior year, winning the state championship, he's really had that feeling of, like you're saying, the fan base, the student section, and the crowd. We had more Lake Highlands people in the gym at the Alamo Dome than probably any team right there. And that was amazing. I think that was probably a big part of us making that run and pulling out that win.
So well said, Tre. You know, you hit 2,000 career points during the season. You know you're going to get to 3,000 next year. When you leave Lake Highlands, what do you want your legacy to be there?
Just a kid that was good on and off the court, did everything like the right way, just an all-around good person.
You went from unranked to #1. You finished the season on a 24-game winning streak. Tre, what do you do for an encore?
We just keep working and getting better overall over the season. In the offseason, we're just getting better so we can come out and probably lose no games next year.
Yeah, and I think about it too. You know, early on in the year, you guys lost to Duncanville, but your team was so much different later on in the year. Obviously, we didn't get the matchup in the postseason with Duncanville. They were suspended, couldn't play. But if you guys would have played the way you were playing at the end of the year, you would have beaten them, right, Tre?
Yes, we would have beaten them by a good amount of points.
And they ended up beating us by 153-52. So, yes, I mean, our chemistry and how we were playing was so much better at the end of the season than it was at the beginning of the season. So I definitely could see us beating them by at least 5 to 10 points.
Richard, you know, it seems like this whole Lake Highlands State Championship thing has been building for several years. You know, you always think that you could win a state title, but you don't know until you actually do it. What do you think was the one thing that got you over the top where you believed what you were preaching to the kids?
You know, I mean, from the beginning of the season, the guys I had said they wanted to win state. That was one of the goals. But, you know, actually it was like getting past that hump, winning that third round, because last year Arlington Martin beat us in the third round. So we had, the year before that, we lost to Jesuit, a district opponent, in the third round. So once we got over that third round hump this year, it's like it just took off from there, because our last 4 games, we went to regionals, North Crowley, beat them by 20 plus, and then what's the other school? Against Finley, Byron Nelson. Against Byron Nelson, we beat them by 20, and then, you know, the 2 games in the state tournament. So we were rolling, right? After we got past that third round, we began to roll in the confidence, and, you know, we on the bus headed to San Antonio, and it was like, I mean, it's 4 teams left. Why we can't be the #1 team? And the players and everybody bought into that, and we went out and took care of business. Now we're the state champs.
Tre, it's so fascinating to me when you're an elite player and all the attention's on you. You have the biggest target on your back, and yet you're still able to perform. How are you able to do that when the other coaches and the other teammates, when they see you in the gym, they're like, we got to stop that guy, and yet they can't? How do you get over that?
I really just let the game come to me. I take whatever shots is given to me. I really don't try to force the issue a lot when I got other good pieces around me and other good players around me. And I know that if everybody's attention is on me, then other players on my team will get the ability to score and just create opportunities. And then whenever my opportunity opens up, then I'm gonna take the shot and I'm ready.
You're such a big celebrity in the Lake Highlands area. How much do you enjoy that? Because I always am fascinated by all the pictures that you take with all the fans. It seems like you stay after the game for like another hour just to take care of everybody.
That's kind of cool, and it's a good thing to see, because I was in the same position, same spot when I was a young kid, trying to get pictures and autographs with people. So just being able to do that for other people and other kids is a great thing.
Well, Richard and Tre, thank you so much for joining us. We're so blessed that we're going to be able to see you guys go for back-to-back. Continued success, and thanks so much for doing this.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Rick, and thanks for having us. We enjoyed it.